Hello family and welcome new viewers. In this video, a sister in Christ had a peculiar rapture dream which she wanted to share with other believers worldwide like yourself. Please share if you ever had a dream like this in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.
Hi, good morning guys. I have something to share with the Watchmen community. I have been hanging on to some dreams that I think it's time to tell you about. I have had a grand total of 5 significant end times rapture wedding dreams recently. I've had 2 wedding dreams, I've had 2 rapture dreams, and last night I had a 3rd wedding dream. Here we go. Okay, the night before the September 23rd, 24th watch period, the first one, I had a dream. I did share that one here, and that was interesting because I was driving up to like a podunk, real ratchet, like drive up wedding chapel, and it had windows like a DMV or like somewhere you don't want to be. And it was like graffiti on cardboard. It was just real podunk. And I went up to one of the windows because one of them was occupied. So I went up to like the second window on the left, and they asked where the groom was, and I told them to get started without the groom, that the groom would be there soon. So obviously, in retrospect, that was a sign that we were rushing things. The groom was not coming, and we were trying to start the wedding without him in like a really not ideal situation. And I think it was like 3 days later, after the 23rd, 24th, I think the night of the 24th or early on the 25th, I had my first rapture dream. And that was interesting because that night I had prayed that God not let the enemy give me any nightmares, because I was feeling it, the weight of everything, and I've had nightmares in the past, so I didn't want nightmares. So I said, Lord, please, protect my dreams. Don't let the enemy give me any nightmares. And then that night, I had a dream that I was laying on my bed, and I violently, ferociously got pulled up. Abruptly is a better word. Got pulled up from my bed and like spinning, kind of rapture. And it was fast, and it was violent, and it was like the wind was rushing around. It was like getting sucked up into a vacuum. It was uncomfortable. I remember not being able to breathe well because like the air around me was moving too fast to breathe in, and it was very quick. And then I was up somewhere, and there was a grid, and I fell into one of the rooms of the grid, and in front of me was a darkened chair. It was a small room with like a regular size kind of like plastic folding chair or something cheap, like a cheap chair, something like that, and like nothing regal looking, right? And I looked into the chair, and there was a shadow in the chair, and I remember not wanting to see what was in the chair, so I told God, I was like, Lord, I'm scared. And then I jerked awake in my bed, and my right foot was like moved, jerked awake, and that's what woke me up, was my right foot moving. And I was like, okay, that was weird. And I thought that was a nightmare, but now I'm not sure because I've had other dreams. So moving on from there, about a week later, I had my second wedding dream. And this time I was getting ready for a wedding. I was a guest at the wedding. I wasn't the bride, I was a guest. And so this dream, I remember I was in like a department store really last minute, and I was like, I have to go to an event. I was in this big open showroom, but there were like no dresses out except for one that was like floral and not my size. And I was like, do you have this in my size? And I remember being worried about how much it cost because I didn't have any money. And so that was that dream. It was just like alluding to being late for a wedding and being a guest at that wedding. Then I had my second rapture dream about a week later. It was Monday night or Tuesday morning, very early, between the 6th and the 7th. And I remember it was around 4 a.m. because I woke up, and there's more to the story that's interesting. but I was dreaming of seeing an angel, and I could hear it, and it was beautiful. It was so cute and like little, like maybe 20 inches tall, 30 inches tall max, and it was entirely made of light, and it had no discernible features, but it looked like it was wearing robes. It was like the shape of a person in robes, and it was just like radiating light. It was beautiful. It was singing a little song that sounded like a symphony, like a harmony of string instruments that were just kind of like echoing. And I remember getting close to it, and I wanted to see it. I was like outside on a balcony, and I wanted to see it closer. I was with my two daughters, so I'm holding one of my daughters. My other daughter's walking, and I jump up to get to the angel, and I start floating away, and I shouted out no, because I wasn't holding my other daughter, and I thought I was like gonna lose her. And then I woke up, and here's the interesting part. When I woke up, my daughter was also awake. It was like 3:57 a.m. and she was laughing at something in the room, and it took like a few minutes to get her to go back to sleep, which it was very strange. She doesn't talk very much, so she wasn't saying anything. She was just laughing like somebody was playing with her, and she was looking into the center of the room, and I was like, that's weird. Okay, and my last dream was last night, and this one is interesting. So I was getting a bride ready for a wedding, and it was like in a dressing room, and everybody left. I remember everybody leaving, being like, okay, we're going, she can finish getting herself ready, and they all rushed out, and I was being ushered out too, or kind of like the assumption was we were all supposed to leave, and I stayed anyway, and I kept helping her get ready, like frantically. I like helped her with her dress. I was like falling over myself trying to help her get ready, and I lifted her dress up onto her and like around her neck. It was like this really cool dress, but it was a white wedding dress, and the whole dress was like attached at the top, was like a halter dress, so it like clasped around her neck, and the whole dress came down from there. It was really pretty. Nothing that I could ever come up with. I'm not a fashion designer, and this was like fancy, nice, something I'd never seen. And she was wearing earrings, and one of her earrings dropped down into the dress. And so in that moment, I was the one wearing the dress. It was like quick switch. She was still in the room, but suddenly I was in the wedding dress, and I was jumping up and down to try to get the earring out from my dress, because it fell in my dress, and it came out from under the hem, and I picked it up, and it was a gold earring, but it looked like a ring. It looked like a gold ring. And then I woke up. Yeah. So I'm not a dream interpreter, but I just thought I'd put that out there. Today is Friday the 17th. It is 10:41 where I am, and I did share another video about a biblical day ending at noon. And I think that is important because our current watch is the Jubilee watch. So if October 6th and 7th was real and it's Jubilee year, that means 10 days later is the last trump. And because we saw the full moon in Israel on the 7th, that means Feast of Trumpets didn't end until noon on the 8th, according to our time in Jerusalem, which means this watch doesn't end until the 18th at 11:59 a.m. is like the last minute of this watch in Jerusalem time. So hang in there, guys. And like, I get it. I am so tired. Not only because I care for two small children 24/7, but just because there's been like so much learning and reading and searching and looking up and being hopeful and being let down and then being hopeful again. And I think that's normal. That's part of it. That's okay. I pray we all have the endurance needed, or are given the endurance needed to run this race well. But I'm also so grateful for you guys, because this has been such a fast friendship community, And for someone who has a hard time with that, this has been so valuable to me. And so knowing you guys, like, I will study the Bible with you guys for decades. I don't care when he comes. We are not going to stop looking for our Lord and Savior. God bless you. Mwah!
I love you, Lord, for your mercy never failed me all my days.